Welcome back to the HGC Europe. We have just begun a series between Fnatic and Synergy, and Fnatic kind of showed us why they're one of the best in Europe.
They stomped them.
Yeah, they came out.
Yeah.
That was probably the most one-sided match we've seen so far in the HGC, but it is still a best-of-5 series. Synergy can change things up a little bit here.
Yeah.
They seem to be the front runners of let's get Ariel running constantly. This is the second, almost third time that we've seen Synergy pull off Ariel. So maybe switch it up a little bit here and move into a different composition. Let's find out the battleground that we are going to in game number 2, as our teams have already decided it.
All right, so Tomb of the Spider Queen was that first pick after the bans, of course. And now we are going to go to Sky Temple. And it was Fnatic's pick. Now, the problem is it's... you keep them on Tomb of the Spider Queen, which is kind of a small map, but they're very good at that. Yeah. Then you take them to big battlegrounds where global presence becomes an extreme issue, and then they're really good at that.
Yeah, Synergy is really valuing first pick here, it seems like, more than they are the battleground, which scares me, because you're right. Fnatic has their battlegrounds that they are fantastic on. They also have compositions that they are known for. Fallout and Brightwing, heroes that they excel at, suddenly become something you have to worry about in the draft when you go to Sky Temple.
Yeah, I think so. So a little bit worried and concerned here for Team Synergy. We mentioned at the beginning of the series that it's kind of like that David and Goliath story between these two teams. Fnatic is an absolute powerhouse. They showed a phenomenal game number 1 there. Very hard for Team Synergy to kind of rival that. They've come in knowing that it was going to be a very, very difficult series, and I think Sky Temple will be no different.
Yeah, if they don't take this series here, I would recommend that they go for the battleground choice in game number 3 and go where they would like to go and play from there, you know?
Something wacky as well. Like, just go the most uncommon map, try and put Fnatic off their keel a little bit, try and find that location.
Okay, well, here we are. Synergy will start off with their ban phase. Now, do they elect to ban something a little bit odd here, like the ETC we saw last time? Or, there we go, the fall stats, so they can get the Tassadar or Ragnaros here. It seems they are still electing to go with that strategy, so Synergy should take Ragnaros here.
They could, but they could also take ETC. I don't mind them taking ETC if they want to take it away from Fnatic on the other side.
True.
They prioritize that ban towards the back, but again, I would agree that Ragnaros is probably a linchpin of strength behind what they could do, but I wouldn't mind an ETC either.
Yeah, if they take ETC, they're in a kind of a weird position now, yeah.
Or a Dehaka, because, you know, they imagine it's going to be something that's focused. Tychus is the pickup, though, so want to limit some of that front line at least.
Okay, so Tychus taken away, which is something that Fnatic has prioritized. I believe they have played it 6 times before today's series, so 7 times total.
Right.
So they definitely put value on that hero. So Fnatic now will get to choose what they would like to move into. One would assume that ETC and Malfurion, based on past history, would be where they move into. But again, with it being Sky Temple, they may leave a slot open for Brightwing later on and let the Malfurion go through.
All right, so what did they... Let me look back. So, Fnatic, where are you? Where are you, Fnatic? There you are. Sky Temple against Misfits. So they went Brightwing Falstad to begin with, and they went down the Tyrael, Tychus, Muradin path, going up against things like a Zeratul early on from their opponents. So they could go Brightwing pretty early on here. Smexy is comfortable on him, which is fine. Give them some of that global. So Brightwing to Hacker or ETC and Malfurion. Never mind. Ignore everything I say. I'm rubbish. That's...
They go into the ETC and the Malfurion. No, it's fine. We're learning out their habits. One of the best things about Fnatic, though, is that you won't beat them too often in the draft because they can play so much variety.
Yeah, it's like... Sometimes you see Fnatic saying, we're going to play to the map. Sometimes you see them and say, we're going to play to the team fight. And this time around, they've elected to, what seems like, play to the team fight to the start of this draft at least. ETC, great on Breeze, no problems there. Malfurion showed a good game, previous with Smexy. No problems there either. Just fight Synergy and beat Synergy is the mantra currently.
Yeah, and one has to wonder after seeing what they did in game number 1, do they have a feel that they can go kind of a standard cop in game number 2 and start maybe hiding strats for future league matches and such?
Because I think something that does lend itself nicely to what Synergy has at the moment is that Synergy picked up Tychus, which isn't necessarily playing to the map, it's more playing to the team fight, right? So if Fnatic actually then said, right, we're going to play to the map, then they would be in that weird situation where they were against Misfits and they were just running away the whole time. Whereas I think they probably just say, okay, we see your Tychus, we'll commit more to that team fight and then just probably beat you because we feel we have the better team fight.
True. Rhaegar and Dahaka will be the pickups for Synergy. Now Fnatic has to start thinking about what they would like to get rid of here. Also, there is still the possibility of Jaina and Zeratul available for Fnatic if they do want to go that route. Synergy should be thinking about that during the ban phase. We saw a little bit of Jaina already from them. Also, Tyrael is another hero that we've seen paired well with ETC from Fnatic in the past. So, again, things to worry about for this team. Fnatic is starting to highlight Artanis. We have seen Artanis before here from Synergy. Hydra donning that hero. Didn't really have any crazy playmaking abilities that happened with Hydra, but obviously it is something that you should consider when Synergy is building up this comp.
Yeah. I'm wondering then from that point on how they're going to build their damage dealers, like what they're going to go down with that. I mean, there's still a lot of choices. There's still things like Li Ming, etc., which doesn't weave her way into the meta as much. You'll see it from like Dignitas and some other people, but it's definitely not the mainstay it used to be. But it's still powerful.
Yeah, it's not the instant go-to. I think it gets a little more valued here with ETC being the first pick from Fnatic. That wave of force is very helpful in mosh pit scenarios, and then Tychus, of course, can finally get into the fight without having to worry about being CC'd consistently.
And, you know, a standout was actually Neon on Li Ming in a previous series that we saw Team Synergy on.
That's true.
When they were going up against Dignitas, I think it was actually. Even though, yeah, they did lose 0-3. But it was still a more rivaled and better position for them than it was other damage dealers. So now they're just thinking about what Fnatic wants as damage dealers. And if there's something like Sylvanas that they're scared of, okay, so they're worried about Wubby, because his solo lane against that Ragnaros was powerful, but Ragnaros is still open, so now Wubby could just take Ragnaros.
Yeah, Wubby can be put on Ragnaros and go from there. So yeah, ban on Thrall, and now we get to find out what Fnatic wants to go into in terms of their composition.
And this is a really important statistic. The fact that Fnatic is 3-0 with ETC, that's why we saw the ban from it previously. If you think back to where Fnatic had their most success at BlizzCon, you saw even the Korean teams trying to take ETC away from Breeze because they knew that was an absolute focal point of their tactics when it came to people following up on how strong Breeze was on that hero, and he has it here.
He literally hand-delivers kills to his teammates, just the way he positions.
Yeah.
Fnatic grabs the Li Ming, and they grab the Tyrael, so there's a Tyrael paired with the ETC. Li Ming taken here, I wonder if that was more of a, okay, let's prevent Synergy from grabbing something here that could be good for them, more than this. She fits perfectly in this comp, but she does work here. You get your poke. I will need some more damage in that 5th pick slot, but you already have options you can go for. You can pick up Vala, Greymane, etc.
Well, I like it. I mean, not only was I kind of talking about the idea that she's viable for Synergy, but also for Fnatic. The fact that Shrimpy is just very, very good on her. So now I'm assuming that it will be Shrimpy there, and then we're just looking now for Quacknix's final hero, which actually, because Falstad's off the table, because Falstad's off the table, because Tychus is off the table, I'm wondering where he's actually going to go.
Chromie Life, double mage.
Another option that's available is Vala to him, but if they can put Quacknix on the Li Ming and then have Shrimpy play something else, so they might make that mix-up.
Illidan and Nubrak. Okay, I was wondering about the Illidan with the Rhaegar and the Dahaka being in the mix, but I didn't know what their 5th would be. And a Nubrak can work here with, of course, Li Ming going to be in that front line sieging away. If you can get in front and dive with your buddy Illidan, you can tank some of that damage from him based on your positioning of where Li Ming is at. So now we're at our 5th pick, and I think naturally what fits here is an auto-attacker.
Greymane.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Greymane or Vala would be the two.
Yeah.
How is Quacknix in his Greymane?
Very good.
Very good.
It used to be one of his standout heroes, along with Falstad, actually. So that could be the go-to here.
The only thing that's scary about it is there's this weird dive versus dive thing that's happening, where the upper hand, I think, goes to Illidan based on his evasion stacks, and then also how the fight breaks out. But Fnatic has a better poke with Li Ming, so they can work down that front line. But if Greymane ever goes in and gets tongued, that's going to be a kill on Greymane. So I think Vala is a safer approach, but they actually go straight into Tracer.
All right, well, this was another option that was available, which is what I was going to come on to next. So they will have Quacknix on the Li Ming whilst they go for the swap round, and Tracer will be played by Shrimpy, I believe. And they do believe, at least I think a lot of Europe sees Tracer as a pretty good counter to Illidan.
Yeah, but you normally want it in compositions that have no CC. Granted, it's going to be hard for the CC to connect here. You have Dahaka's Tongue, maybe Isolation here instead of Adaptation, in all honesty.
That's difficult to hit.
It's difficult to hit, but if you hit it, that is a dead Tracer.
Oh yeah, she's dead if you hit it.
Yeah, it's difficult. You usually wait for her to use 2 blinks, and then you try to bait her into the 3rd blink, and then you go for it. But it could be a strong tool. And then you also have a Nubrak who could go Cocoon. I know I talk about this all the time, and we've only seen it once out of 3 times I yelled it. But you get that on Malfurion, and then you have the dive that's set up, and then Tracer has to back up because she actually can't take fights straight up against Assassins.
Well, they went Tranquility last game.
Yeah.
And if Cocoon were to come out, it would be because they see Tranquility once again, and it really negates a lot of that. So, but I like the Tracer. I think that the Tracer here for Fnatic is going to make do work. I have faith in my Shwimpy.
Yeah, I think it will do work just because Fnatic's that much better than Synergy. And maybe I'm hitting a little bit too much here. I just think there's enough CC here to like make you want to go Vol. It's more of a safe approach, but Fnatic must be feeling that they're obviously a little bit better here in this fight up because they are going for the Tracer route. They can dive in the back line. I just imagine if Tongue ever does connect with Tracer, it will be a scary day for the comp because it will be a 5v4 with an Illidan on the opposing team. But then again, we've already seen that Synergy is definitely the underdog here. Skill versus skill does become a thing that you have to deal with in draft, so we'll see how it shakes out between our 2 teams. But I think I do lean towards Fnatic, even though I don't like the Tracer pick.
All right, okay. Well, Shrimp is going to prove you wrong.
All right, let's see it. Let's go ahead and check it out, man. I'm ready to be proven wrong. Let's do it. Game number 2 coming up here. It's going to be Fnatic taking on Synergy. Fnatic is up 1-0.
It makes me wonder if they were leaning towards that earlier on in the draft and thinking about it later down the line. Could they have gone for something like Zarya instead of the Tyrael? But maybe that would have telegraphed it a little bit more. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, regardless, to the left-hand side, of course, is Team Fnatic in the blue, currently 1 game up.
All right, so they're up 1-0 on the right side. Synergy, here it is. Hydra on the Illidan. Sefka will be playing the support with Rhaegar. There is Power of Dreams on the Anubrak. I'll be keeping an eye on that player. And then Neon here with Tychus. And there is Sir Ice Cream pulling out the Dahaka. And as mentioned before, Hydra here with the Illidan.
Yeah, so Hydra is good on Illidan now. I've seen it a few times here. He's been one of the more flexible players for the team. In fact, in Synergy as a whole, we've even seen him on things like Rexar before, which he has loved. Was unsuccessful during that Dignitas series, but I think when we actually switch over to the next patch, I think we could see him on the new Rexar a bit. So looking forward to that if that does come to fruition.
Same. Would love to see more Rexar
in
the mix-up, especially with his latest changes, but that'll be in a couple weeks here as we are still playing in the Zul'jin patch. So for you at home wondering why you're not seeing new Tassadar, it's because he's not available, and also he's always going to be banned out, so it doesn't even matter. Pressure on the top lane here. There will be a power slide from Breeze to stop the overall pressure, but Sefka and crew are working on getting a nice early experience lead.
All right, just a grenade toss out towards Quacknix. So yeah, Quacknix, as I say, he's not the most versed on Leeming. Obviously, he played a ton of it because everyone plays a ton of Leeming. That's just how Leeming is. But does need to get away from there. So this is kind of the compensation move that they had to make because of it. And that's Neon going down with that pulse bomb already. Shrimpy really in the thick of things. And as I say, man, he is going to rack up those kills. He's a damn good Tracer.
Yeah, that was actually a really good play by him. He saw the Impel used earlier in the last engage, and then Breeze went for the power slide, and Shrimpy just went straight to Tychus, knowing there was no major CC to stop him from doing anything.
Yeah.
Tychus not having an overkill, couldn't trade, and there was the takedown. So nice pickup there by Shrimpy.
And the pulse bombs are going to have to be a little better timed out for Shrimpy because at level 1 he's gone for Tracer rounds, not for the I'm going to hit you in the face and then get my pulse bomb fast. So they're going to be a valuable commodity is the best way to describe it for Shrimpy. But he will make use of them very well.
Dude, have you ran Tracer rounds before? It's so freaking strong.
It's pretty crazy.
It's so good for chase. It's one of the scariest things to deal with when someone runs into a bush. Oh gosh, his Illidan gets rooted by a bush, and Shwimpy comes in for the takedown. But yeah, when your opponents run into a bush and you can't chase them, Tracer rounds gives you that ability. I was actually told by Grubby to play that because I used to run the old melee one for more pulse bombs. And Grubby swore by Tracer rounds. Thank you, base Grubby. You got me 2 or 3 wins, man.
Yeah, the fact that you can actually just track them into the bush is totally right. But Grubby, man, he's a mastermind. So
yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's one of the most intelligent thinkers in the community, I feel.
Gotta love Grubby. Grub pride. If you get the chance, drop it down. Okay, so here it is, back into the game. Rotations continue for our two teams, and Fnatic is taking quite a lead, actually, on Sky Temple with a 6 to level 5, almost a full level. Synergy now just trying to grab Mercs here to get some pressure on the map. So far, the Tracer rotations have been quite solid with a few kills here. In fact, 3 have been the takedowns for Fnatic.
Yep, and now, with this being taken towards the bottom, Fnatic's going to look to try and clean up their opponent's easy camp, and then in about a minute or two's time, rotate on up towards the top, grab themselves that hard camp. Pressure's going to be put on towards Neon at the back, and that is Anubarak almost certain to die. Oh, unstoppable! Is he going to get away? Li Ming was trying to get some shots off on him out the backside, and that is going to be a counter kill on Li Ming. Good stuff by Synergy, good escape by Power of Dreams.
Good rotation. Tyrell not being there allowed Hydra to get that takedown, especially with the blink in from the Li Ming. So nice job overall. Power able to escape at the same time.
The one thing that they did commit for that kill is the fact that they're actually losing a little bit of experience up towards the top lane. So as much as they felt like they had to assert some dominance over Fnatic, it does cost them a little bit there, as Dahaka had to head up towards the top, but he missed a few minions.
Yeah, he did. And they're not closing this one level gap that Fnatic has. So while it was impressive to see that kill, Kalaris is completely correct there. The soak from Tyrael was much more impactful than that kill was.
So Tyrael was actually scouting out that hard camp for a moment, looking at the timing at which was going to come down there. So Fnatic not going for their hard camp timing, actually. I suppose if you look at their comp, it's a bit more difficult to get that exactly right, because most of their heroes aren't really the camp cleanup crew that they want, right? Compared to an Illidan.
Yeah, just Illidan being the one to do that on here on the battleground. I think you would have to put 2 resources at least. I would want the ETC and then maybe the Li Ming actually over the Tracer for clearing camps. Because Tracer does not do a good job at clearing camps at all. 5 people set up down here in the bottom, though, for Fnatic as they are grabbing the Shrine. Dahaka, though, will have the burrow, does move in. Wubby using the Aldruin to zone him away with that smite.
But the focus on this bottom lane for Fnatic has been really cool. They may have given Synergy a little bit of an opportunity to catch up in experience, but they killed off the well, which is very important down towards the bottom lane. So it's making this team fight very hard for Synergy here, which is why Fnatic is winning it so hard, as they're going to push on towards the 4 and get so many kills off this. Oh my god, Fnatic is on a rampage.
They are just straight diving here. Schwimpy keeping up with it. Sepka goes down as well. Li Ming getting the resets. Now, there is some good news for Synergy. They got the fort in the top left corner, but here's the major bad news that you're going to read in the newspapers next week. Synergy had all 5 members killed off in that engage.
Yeah, and even giving up some of the shots as well down towards the bottom now, as that temple was not soaked up fully during all of that time. And that is the power that things like Tyrael, things like even Li Ming blinking forward, and then Tracer especially gives them. They can keep that chase on, but getting the well was the cornerstone of that initial push onto there to really deny a lot of Synergy's continuity.
They can just chase forever, it feels like. You're getting your resets, you have Tracer there, you mentioned the Tyrael already. This is no way for that to stop any pressure for coming their way. So, man, Synergy has to find a way to deal with that. Right now, though, their main objective is to get to level 10. They're grabbing Giants in the bottom right. They are scared out of their minds, though, to grab Giants. They've brought all 4 people, ignored some experience in the middle lane here, just to make sure they can grab those Giants. You can just tell this Tracer pick is getting their minds. And you know what? I mean my words here. Schwimpy showing off.
Yeah, too true. Too true. No surprise, really. I mean, Fnatic is making this look pretty effortless, actually. Aside from the one death that they actually lost, now they're just putting on pressure here with their heroics, getting themselves a fort, don't even really care about the objective. And it comes back to what I was saying at the beginning of the draft. The ETC Malfurion pickups for them, when they normally look for globals, actually they just went for teamfight, and they're making it work in spades.
The Metamorphosis to stop the Pulse Bomb. Nice job here by Hydra. The also does get started, but Schwimpy does get picked off by Illidan there with a flip and a dive. Nice pick off from Synergy, finally coming in and go for the engage. And you know what? That engage was needed. Even though they didn't they only got 1 kill, once you hit level 10, that's your power spike available for the composition that Synergy is running. So you need to make a play. And while the play was little, it was still enough to give Synergy a hope here in this match.
Yeah, they capitalized on the fact that Fnatic stuck around for just a little bit too long. Yeah. Like maybe 3 or 4 seconds too long around that fort there. So now Fnatic here is going to just hold on to the base that they have at the bottom, making sure that that fort is not going to fall down. They want to just propel themselves towards level 13. It's not as easy because they don't have the globals that they're so used to on this map, but they'll still make it happen. So they'll get 13 quite happily here before Synergy.
And that's where Synergy needs to take their advantage. They do have the global, and they have their Dahaka, so they need to be floating constantly in different lanes here. Ice Cream, I feel like, was actually slow in this rotation because he was worrying about the Watchtower so much that he actually missed some experience chance. Now with Timble's activating here on the top and to the very south, Fnatic is in the driver's seat. They can set up how they would like, and Synergy will have to break in. However, in the middle lane, they're looking for a kill here. Schwimpy and Breeze are looking to pick off Illidan and seeing him rotate.
Oh, nice little power slide there by Breeze. One thing that's important to note here about our Dahaka is that level 7, we actually have Feeding Frenzy compared to the usual Dark Swarm talent that reduces the cooldown of it when you actually hit heroes. So that means he's going to have more tongues, if he's not dead, of course, which just occurred. So they need to run away.
Yeah, he was picked off in the bush there. Yeah, and I think I agree. You either just turn for the full engage and waste your entire team, or you escape right now. Power is going to get the ancestral healing from Rhaegar. There's a mosh pit holding a new Baraki with a clickety-clackety there as he dances it up, and Synergy loses a total of 3 members with Dahaka being taken out 20 seconds ago.
The holy cow sanctification combination. I love it. So Breeze with Tyrael looking good. And now, I mean, so here's a problem, is that, yeah, they're taking this boss, and yeah, they destroyed that fight just then. I say Synergy has to run away, but they can't run away.
It's so hard.
From this composition, you can't. It's so annoying for them.
You only have 2 engages. You go for the 4v5 and you just turn around and all-in, or you run away and lose anyway. So I think at that point you decide, okay, let's just start fighting. We've lost somebody. We already have a Tracer on our face. Let's just turn this around and dive on their back line.
And if you do need to run away in that situation, it's costing you so much. It's costing you things like Metamorphosis on Illidan to try and run away with, which is a huge, huge important cooldown for an Illidan player. So it's a lose-lose situation sometimes there for Synergy in these comps.
It's a difficult one, and it continues to get difficult as Sir Ice Cream is up in the top right. He is going to get poked off. Quacknix with the immediate orb into the Calamity Teleport for the damage. And a boss in the bottom right is being defended here by Synergy, but 2 Giants are there as well. They're just fighting to get level 13. Well, Fnatic is controlling the battleground. They had both Temple Shrines here, and they're now getting keep pressure here at 10 minutes into the game.
I mean, I think that in this game, Night Camps, the Bruiser Camps, the Hard Camps have done more for Synergy than actually their team has. They got the 4 towards the top. They're still pushing up towards there as well. And unfortunately for Synergy, again, they're going up against a very, very well-coordinated team. That's an ice block here, trying to save Malfurion. He's dead, though. And a good pickup for Team Synergy.
Nice job by Synergy. Yes, you find the weak link that is on the opposing team. And that weak link is going to be Malfurion. He's the one that can be picked off. And that was a 4v5. Dahaka spawned towards the end of there, but that was a great engage because Tyrael was in the top lane. There's no sanctification. There's no escape there with the extra smites. So Malfurion getting picked off is a big pick for Synergy, but I do like the Fnatic does cut their losses. They understand, okay, we've lost Malfurion, time to deuce.
Yeah, they need to, Synergy somehow needs to make use of this right here, right now, but I don't know if that's going to work on out. An attempt there, once again, of the Mosh Pit Sanctification, but nothing to be caught in that at all. As Team Synergy now putting on some pressure.
This could be a win. 2 big heroics used, Sanctification, Mosh Pit as well, with nothing occurred. Now the Holy Ground will prevent the fight from happening, but I like Synergy turning that around there. The Ancestor healing, hitting on power allowed for them to turn that fight around, even though they were 16-14. Fnatic seems to be a bit aggressive there with those 2 massive heroics.
And I want to kind of just give you some indication of numbers at the moment, because just to emphasize how good Shrimpy is on this Tracer, second highest damage, or the highest damage done for Team Synergy is 19,000. The highest damage done for Fnatic, 32,000 from Shrimpy. Li Ming's a close second, 29,000, but Shrimpy is just powering out damage in these team fights and has a lot of room.
Yeah, the strength of Tracer Harass, really. Being able to be in the front line, constantly pelting that damage while everyone else has to stutter step, might go away. You're going to see how those numbers can start to really kind of flux up a lot and get padded. Synergy does have a chance here still, though. I know they've been kind of getting beat down this entire early game, but still 12 minutes. They have all 3 of their keeps available to them, and they have their heroics, so they'll be able to actually go into an engage. But if they lose one more team fight, that's when I start fearing for them to start losing their keeps.
And I didn't notice this until just now, but Shrimpy's gone locked and loaded, so he's constantly reloading whenever he has to actually do it manually, to the point where he's getting out big extra damage. So there's 3 choices at level 16, obviously. Some are easier, some are harder. Locked and loaded is the hardest.
Yeah, it's definitely the most difficult, but one that can be rewarding if you hit it every single time.
Yeah.
Obviously, Swimpy believes in himself here. A push does happen to keep in the top right corner, though, but with Odin being popped, Neon and crew will force Fnatic to walk away. Brizo is on the hunt. Power, the one he's looking at here, but with a wonderful impale from a Nubrak, he will live to fight another day.
I wonder if they... Well, yeah, they must have realized that Illidan was down towards the bottom, but they were just a little bit wary about going into that keep range. I'm just going to have to retreat from this spot. Don't think a rotation should hurt him.
Illidan, be careful. He's about to hit 16. There we go. He hits it, but he does lose a quarter of his health there with the melee hit and the grasp from Schwimpy here on this Tracer.
They're
lone
clumping up.
temple.
They're really clumped up at the moment, and that's going to be Breeze moving in there. And he tries to go for a mosh. He catches 2 of them. They're stunned at the moment. They're not bringing him out of it. He's also invulnerable. But great job by Neon to zone out the damage dealers from getting onto him. But I think he might just sacrifice his life for it. Yes, he will, with that pulse bomb going off. Good power slide through 2 of them. Smexy trying to get out of there. Illidan on the hunt for him, as it's going to be that ice block, saving Smexy for a little bit longer. He gets out! I can't believe it.
The shield from Tyrael were important there. Wubby saving his Malfurion. Hydra had 2 kills lined up if he did take out that Malfurion, but not able to secure them, and Synergy is forced to give up this temple.
Oh, it's such a shame that Neon had to die there. He did a great job of being able to zone out the damage to make sure the mosh wasn't as impactful in that fight, but when you have that kind of zone out potential, it also comes at the sacrifice of maybe your own life. Poor Neon died for a good cause, so it wasn't more deaths.
The tongue, though, and there is a Tracer low on HP. Ow. Can Illidan get it? He dives in. Blinks are down for another second here. Hydra, though, has to be careful and does pull away, but you can see the true power of the tongue if it does hit Tracer.
Yeah, I guess that's why Feeding Frenzy might have been the absolute go-to. I'm not too surprised at 16 that we have the Burrow movement, because it is so strong. It is so strong. But yeah, so just trying to land those short tongues a little bit faster.
Yeah, and it's also just helpful for getting back to your Rhaegar, because you're naturally diving as Dahak and getting far in the back line. If you're able to burrow back and get that heal when you come out from being underneath the ground, it can be great for you. 18 to 17, Synergy, though, is showing some life in these last couple of fights. It hasn't been quite the wipes that we saw in the early game, so they still have a chance here. They've lost at keeping the middle lane, though, so Dahaka will have to be on catapult duty for a little bit, but Fnatic does have to be a little bit more careful in their engages if they want to make sure they secure this win.
I feel now, unless Illidan gets in a really tough spot, I think Neon, we've seen these couple of fights play out. Neon is going to be the one that's trying to zone, as he did in that previous fight. And then I feel Ancestral Healing is going to be more pivotal on him than any other hero, unless somebody gets caught off guard.
Yeah.
But they're going to go and die for this.
There we go. The mosh pit hits a Nubrak. There goes the Quinn. He will be able to prevent it from occurring. Hydra will be forced to use Metamorphosis low on HP. The massive silence into the mist. Ancestor healing. And now Synergy has to escape from this fight, but the chase is underway already.
And Holy Ground Sanctification going to be used there, so nobody can move actually through that location for a moment. Quack's just barraging them from that little bush over on that top side there, as Synergy is going to fall apart. Ice Cream very, very low. He will die to Eldurin's might.
Neon taken out. There's the wave of force. A Nubrak in trouble as well. Power taken out. Sepka dead at the same time. All 5 members are dead. Synergy has been wiped, and this will be a core push for Fnatic and most likely game here. Illidan's up in 12 seconds, but what are you going to do against this competition?
I guess Fnatic has some kind of hair appointment to go to at this point, because they are 2-0 up with their beautiful, luscious locks, and they are looking to steamroll through here against Synergy. Very, very well executed.
Yeah, really showing off there. There was some great moments from Synergy in that late game, mid to late, but it just felt like they were so far behind that really they just never got into the fights. And then when Fnatic turned it up, Quacknex, you mentioned it, in that back right bush, just sieging away on the opponents, just softening them up there, and eventually they were able to wipe everyone. Fnatic, man, looking on point.
Very much so, very much so. Tracer turned up for Schwimpy. No surprises there, really, as how he was able to execute it. There wasn't many answers to it, really, on the other side. So aside from, you know, lucky tongues, kind of, not lucky, but attempted to calculate tongues, you know, in the right areas. They hit one. Unfortunately, one wasn't enough. Yep,
they only hit one in that entire game on Tracer, which is very difficult to do, but still got it done. We're going to get ready for game number 3 here at the HGC. Fnatic and Synergy facing off. The series is tied 1-1.